Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to a little bit of Endless Space 2 here. So I think we might be able to finish this one off in this episode here. We're building another Ark and safe, whatever, and that's fine, but we probably aren't going to need it. Never know, might end up needing it in the end, but yeah, things are going pretty well here. We're pretty damn close to getting our economic victory here. We're ticking 35,000 per turn, which is pretty good. 36,000 per turn now. And that number is only going to keep going up and up and up as we sort of continue along here. So should be able to do some pretty good stuff here. Do have to just hold back any enemies that try to sort of slam into us at this point in time, but pretty sure that we're safe here. Was going to get a colony down to Zinnius, I think. So let's go ahead and get this new fleet down to there. Looks like it'll take a couple turns. It's not that bad though. And, okay, what do we get from this guy here? Okay, so this theoretically reduces the upkeep costs. I don't think that actually applies to what we need here, though, so we're actually going to go ahead and finally get that one. Should have gotten that a long time ago, but doesn't really make a difference. There we go. And, is that really all that we can do this turn? I think that's pretty much everything that we've got going for us. We can just go ahead and buy more of these guys, I suppose. Alright, so it's pretty much all our money to just upgrade a little bit out of these, but did increase our income per turn by a little bit there. Every little bit just brings us that little bit closer to victory. Okay, these buildings are ridiculously expensive, so I can't fix or rush any of those. This one also, I could have if I hadn't spent it all on that other stuff, but that's probably okay here. Alright, and over here we got ourselves a bit of a fight, looks like. Not much of a fight, though. Alright. Actually, I should have checked, oh, these guys switched to short. So they'll probably, like, blow up a bunch of my ships there if they... No, they ran away, okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind that they're back to short type weapons, that's fine. Other than that, though, let's go ahead and continue on here. Graphius needs to build something, okay. I think we get Graphius to build... Kind of want to get distributed energy, but that's kind of not realistic right now. So let's go ahead and get another brand, and then we'll work on emergency labor. So that should be fine. It's like 0 turns to construct the first ship, so we should switch over to... we should get more dust than it's saying there. And we'll check really quickly here. Oh, shit. Huh. Alright, let's check our score screen here. Yeah, like I was saying, it really starts snowballing fast once you do win. Oh, and we can get this little cutscene here. It's probably going to be really bad frames per second, but... I love the aesthetic for the Vodyani, it's just so good. Oh wow, that is interesting looking. Yeah, it's not supposed to actually be doing that, but it actually kind of fits with what they're trying to do. So yeah, they're trying to ascend to becoming purely which is a bit of a weird thing to do, but when you...
Keep in mind that
dust is sort of nano machines and stuff like that, then it sort of makes sense there. Alright, so we have to remember this is on the endless difficulty. Got an overall score of 469,528. Predominant policy was like religious for pretty much the whole thing. Never got any of our systems to max level because we didn't need to. 75 explorations, a level 23 hero there. And we can look at just sort of the overall power of us throughout the entire game. You can see that we were never really that high up. And you can also see that Vodyani have this really slow curve at the start here. And typically speaking, they're going to start off low on the curve, and then they just sort of get stronger and stronger and stronger, but the curve is also really deceptive. Thanks to the arcs, they're usually significantly more powerful than they look like in the early game there. We can take a look at dust, and this is just sort of that... This is why it's so stupid getting the dust victories here. It grows on an exponential curve rather than the normal one. You can see that just sort of we're weakest on like everything throughout most of the game, and then sort of just starts spiking up there. Industry, we actually were lower than the Riftborn the entire game. I'm surprised the Riftborn were ahead of us near the end there. Science, influence, population. Population's always lowest for the Vodyani. Research, trade, trade was something that looks like only we really took too much advantage of there. Approval sort of just wiggles around, same sort of thing there. It doesn't really matter that much. This is the thing that really hits us hard. It's also the reason why I think that the United Empire got trashed so badly, is because they kept losing a lot of stuff to me. Our heroes worth a lot more than everybody else's, and our military remained the strongest throughout the entire game here. So, despite the score discrepancy, you can see these jumps every single time we get an arc. Each of these is one of our arcs, and it gets a little bit fuzzier later on, but you can see that just how much difficulty people are going to have getting this much firepower in their empire. And you can see we start off with the most by a decent amount compared to everybody else. As soon as we get a second arc, we like quadruple our lead over everybody else, and then you just keep going. So this is why you don't really need ships that badly in the early game. So yeah, that was a surprisingly short episode here today, I guess. But that's okay, because I'm actually kind of tired today, so I didn't really feel like I could put in enough energy for a full-length episode. I did not think that that was going to happen quite that quickly, though. Yeah, no, this is why normally as well, I, generally speaking, disable the... let's go to our options menu here, actually. Typically speaking, I like to go into the advanced options. It's been a while since I've had to do this. But typically speaking, like, I always turn off score victory, because, like, it kind of doesn't make any sense anyway. And I almost always turn off the economic victory, just because that's also... because it's such a fast victory compared to every other victory type. For the science victory, the number of researches that you need is so much longer, lengthier to acquire all of them compared to the economic victory. And since you slow down in technologies even as you're gaining more science and more science, means that the science victory, you can sort of see it coming and potentially stop somebody from doing it. The economic victory is different because they've got such a focus on money. Money can get you any of the other resources in this game if you're willing to buy them. So if you've got tons and tons of cash, you can have a big military in this game. Or you could have a lot of core infrastructure, or you can have lots of science buildings. So the economic victory is just too easy to get compared to the other ones. Science victory and wonder victory are kind of both interesting in that you could do similar things as the economic victory, but it does take significantly longer, so that's the only reason why it's harder. Also, the other thing is that if you're playing against the Cravers, and you're on endless difficulty, they get this by like turn 80, so really, really hard to deal with. Sometimes I also turn off Academy quests, because it's kind of a dumb quest there, or reduce some of the other multiplayer quest events, because they don't really add too much to the game, but other than that. I also play with disabled pirates. If you play the game, you're going to find that with pirates turned on, it's less that they're more difficult, although they do add a little bit of difficulty, in particular to the Vodyani, in that you just have to build 3 or 4 scout ships to escort your starting leech. But if you do that, then you'll be fine for the rest of the game. And honestly, the reason I don't like it is I don't want to have to either auto-resolve a million battles, and if you've got pirates enabled, you do have to fight them like once every single turn. And if you know, it gets really old really fast having to do that, so I'd have that sort of disabled there. Other than that, though, everything is sort of as normal. So yeah, it's our quick match of Endless Space 2 there. Went for the economic victory because I figured that's the resource that I had there. And again, as well, if you like have the perfect setup of economic resources to get the money and the trade and the happiness in particular, are the ones that you would want to go for. If you can get that combination, you can basically just win the game outright very quickly, especially if you're the Riftborn, the Vodyani, or the Lumeris. It's the fastest victory type, or the Cravers. If you're the Cravers, well, actually, no, if you're a player and you're using the Cravers, because they're mechanic, you tend to deplete your plants before you can actually win the game. But they're kind of in an odd case there, because they jet ahead in terms of the amount of dust that they're earning, but then they start dropping off as all their plants become depleted, so they kind of need to keep conquering stuff a lot faster. They're a bit of a weird faction. But in any event, yeah, hope you found the series enjoyable. We'll be finishing off our Stellaris campaign pretty soon. But yeah, I should have just finished off this campaign last episode. But in any event, hope you found this one enjoyable. And of course, as always, hope to see you guys all next time.